What's up everyone? GPT-5 is here from OpenAI after a long wait, but I am excited to go ahead and test out the different use cases and opportunities for using GPT-5, and I'm very surprised with a few of the results and actually frankly disappointed in some of the results. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
Subscribe to the channel.
Alright, so I am here in GPT-5. I went to chatgpt.com, so GPT-5 is now available for everyone, all on the free plan, up to the Plus, the Pro plans, even the Enterprise plans and education plans. So highly recommend giving it a test. I did notice one of the first things right out of the box is that GPT-5 is very responsive, definitely has some really quick responses in the prompts here. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the top use cases that I've found. So one of the things here I just immediately started with was asking what are the top use cases for GPT-5. So some of the top use cases here, of course, is in the coding and software engineering, and I'm going to show a few examples there. Also complex reasoning, test-to-time compute, so you can do a lot of multi-step logic-heavy tasks like math reasoning, analytics, financial decision-making, so we're going to test that as well. And then writing, content creation, and technical documentation. Also health and medical guidance, so OpenAI created a new healthcare bench for model testing, so we're going to look at that as well. Also agentic tool use and workflow automation. So as we're getting into more of the world of AI agents, agentic tool use is becoming a bigger topic. So we'll test that as well. It's supposed to be able to support different tools and APIs with some of these AI agent behaviors. And then there is multimodal interaction, long context handling. So it supports a massive context window of up to 400,000 tokens, which is great for long form interactions. All right, so let's go ahead and give it a test for each of those categories. So I have a prompt here on the coding and software side that we're going to give it a test on. So let's go ahead and do this. So build me a responsive single page website for a fictional space tourism company called Starhopper. Should have a hero section, 3 service cards, a booking form, and a smooth animation, scroll animations with React and Tailwind. I want to add a few things. Let's make the style like 80s Mac inspired design. Apple Mac design, retro look and feel. So let's see how it thinks about this. So, and then you'll see here on some of these that it is saying thinking longer for better results. There is a capability here to actually pick not just the GPT-5, but you can do GPT-5 thinking. So this is where you can get more thorough answers, and then GPT-5 Pro is going to be more research grade intelligence. You will need to upgrade to the Pro plan to get access to that. I'm just on the Plus plan, so I'm going to show you GPT-5 and the GPT-5 thinking. Now you can see here it's going ahead and actually writing the code for me for the Retro Mac theme website. It's already written over 120 lines of code for this as well. So crazy, to see it writing this. Alright, so it looks like it finished running, and it's 342 lines of code for the full application. So now what I can do is I can click on Run Code, and I can see what the application looks like here. Alright, so after clicking Run Code, I can see here that it has the Mac Retro, or the Retro Mac kind of look and feel. It looks like the different pages are working here too. So take off like it's 1986, retro space tourism with classic Macintosh charm. Looks like the form here, the link to the form's working. So we have available flights, the lunar flyby, orbital weekend, a Mars preview. That's pretty cool. Wow, I like this single page application. Very cool. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of like the retro Mac look and feel, so this is really cool to see. So yeah, pretty impressive for just that one shot prompt here with this single page web app. All right, so let's test another application here, more of the full stack. So I have create a CRUD app for managing personal book collections with the Node.js backend, MongoDB database, and a simple HTML, JS, JavaScript front end. Include authentication and README with the setup instructions. And let's see just how it performs here. I'm curious on what it's going to be able to come up with. All right, it just finished running. It said that it was able to drop all of these in Canvas. And then it's asking me want to package it as a downloadable zip or add Docker Compose so I can spin it up with one command, which is really cool. So I really like that capability here. So yeah, it looks like it gives me all the different components that I asked for. MongoDB on the database with Mongoose, authentication, JWT authentication. It's got the project structure, and then it looks like it wrote the code for me to have. So front end, and then the back end, and it has the README information that I asked for as well. So yeah, really cool to have this as a resource on the coding side of things. But let's go ahead, just for the sake of time, to jump into some of the other tests, because I'm probably going to do a separate video just on the coding side with what you can do with GPT-5. Alright, now let's do some more complex reasoning and test time compute tasks. So let's do a test with strategic planning here. So we have, you are the COO of a mid-sized e-com company. Sales have dropped 15% in Q3. Using a structured decision-making framework, propose a recovery plan with at least 3 scenarios, the risks, and recommended actions. So here it's giving a problem definition, core issues, the drivers, and the goal, key data inputs, and recovery scenarios. So scenario 1 is an aggressive marketing push to rapidly reignite demand through intensified promotions, ad spend, and influencer partnerships. So giving actions, risks, and mitigation. Scenario B is conversion rate optimization, or CRO, and retention focus. Squeeze more value from existing traffic and customers instead of chasing more clicks. Interesting. It gives some action, risks, and mitigation there. Product and pricing refresh. Realign offering to marketing or market needs and perceived value. Interesting. And then it helps with a decision framework, which is great. So with those different scenarios, it gives speed to impact, the cost, the brand impact, the risk, and the recommendations. So interesting. Now it's giving a recommended path. So on the immediate, launch win-back campaigns and CRO tests, scenario B. Short term, saying roll out first product pricing experiments, scenario C. And then on, up here was the scenario A on targeted. Interesting, how it combines those 3. Here, if you'd like, I can create a one-page COO decision matrix with traffic sales forecast projections for each scenario. I'm asking it to go ahead and create the projections. So, and I didn't give it any real information about the business, but here is what it's saying. It's 1.2 million in sales per quarter, so around $400,000 per month. Q3 sales, again, down 15%. What's the Q4 target? Recover to at least 1.2 million to offset that shortfall. And now it's giving traffic change, conversion rate change. Interesting. So recommendation here now would be activate B in targeted A campaigns, layer in C with small batch launches to capture seasonal demand, scale hybrid elements. It was pretty good. I like how created this strategy. So, and there's, if I were sitting in the COO role, there's things that I would make, decisions that I would make similar based on the information that I know actually from this. So that was pretty cool for the strategic planning. All right, so let's test analytical reasoning. So solve this problem step by step. A factory can produce 200 units per day. Demand increases by 10% per month. At what day will production no longer meet demand if production stays constant? And yeah, it's thinking longer here for a better answer. So it ended up thinking for 33 seconds here, and then it gave the output. So assume today production matches demand 200 units a day. Demand grows by 10% per month while the production stays fixed. After 1 month with the daily demand, we have 220 units a day. Since 220 is greater than 200, production no longer meets demand as soon as the next month begins. So the first day of the next month, or day 31 if we're counting days from today. All right, so let's try another test with cross-domain problem solving. So compare the feasibility of launching a solar-powered drone delivery service in Arizona versus Norway, factoring in weather patterns, regulations, energy efficiency, and consumer adoption. So there's a lot of different domains coming into this one prompt that I'm giving it. And you can see here now it's going through the different kind of tasks or tools that it's pulling in to create the answer. All right, so thought for 31 seconds here. So it's doing the solar powered drone delivery, Arizona versus Norway. So the TLDR, too long didn't read, Arizona is better bet for solar assisted delivery drones with lots of sun, big market. The VLOS, I think that's vertical liftoff vehicles. I gotta figure out what that means, but I think that has to do with some of the drone regulations. Watch out for monsoon dust storms, extreme heat, and then Norway has a clear regulatory path for BV LOS under ASA and real paying customers in rural medical niches, but winter darkness, icing, wind, and rain make solar a weak value prop most of the year. So, and then it's giving the weather and energy outputs, regulations and airspace, market signals, operational risk, energy efficiency. Bottom line, launch first in Arizona, and then Norway is a playbook too. Interesting. So it definitely has the capabilities of doing more complex strategic planning and analytical reasoning. All right, so let's go ahead and test some writing capabilities here. So I have this prompt here to draft a 500-word blog post about quantum computing for beginners, and then summarize it into a 5-tweet thread and a LinkedIn post. So I do a lot of content creation. I love teaching people online, especially about AI, with my AI Pathfinder newsletter. So this one is a good kind of test to see, but it's got the blog posts here. Quantum computing for beginners. What is quantum computing? Why is it powerful? Some potential applications, challenges to overcome, and why learn about it now. So interesting. It's looks like it's right on the 500-word length, or right around there. And then the 5-tweet thread, quantum computing sounds like sci-fi, but it's real, could change the world. Here's the beginner-friendly breakdown. Traditional computers use bits, 0 or 1. Quantum computers use qubits. Pretty good tweet thread. And then LinkedIn post here. Oh, this is great. I didn't even give it any kind of tone and style of my voice or examples of that. And it looks pretty good on the writing side. So there's only maybe a few tweaks that I would make from this, but it's pretty good here. All right, so let's go ahead and do a healthcare test here just to kind of see. So create a 7-day healthy eating and activity plan for me, Jason Flagel, who works from home and wants to reduce back pain and fatigue. So let's see what it comes up with. So we have our goals: reduce inflammation and fatigue, support spine health, improve energy, fit seamlessly into work from home routine, my hydration, anti-inflammatory base, movement micro base, core and mobility. So here's my day 1 plan with breakfast and my snack and lunch, another snack, dinner, and activity. And then day 2, yeah, this is pretty good. Now, I've done this before, just with my own health journey. I had to go through and have a pretty strict health regimen a few years ago. So some of this, reminds me of that. But yeah, pretty good 7-day plan here that I came up with. Let's do another one with, just evidence-based studies. So here's another test with comparing intermittent fasting and the Mediterranean diet for heart health benefits, citing at least 3 peer-reviewed studies. All right, so on the Mediterranean diet, strong long-term evidence with randomized trials and hard cardiovascular outcomes, showing fewer heart attacks and strokes. Intermittent fasting, decent short-term to mid-term evidence for improving risk factors, and mixed results versus standard calorie restriction. No definitive hard outcome trials yet. So looks like there's more studies, with the Mediterranean diet here. And yeah, it's giving the results here from like New England Journal of Medicine, some of the results that it found with intermittent fasting. It gives safety and caveats, so that's good. So for heart health, choose Mediterranean diet as the foundation, and then layer on intermittent fasting only if it helps adhere to control calories here. So interesting. Great for some people, neutral for others. Pretty good output there. All right, so let's get into Agentic tool use and more workflow automation. So the first one I have is design an automated workflow that takes new email leads from Gmail, parses them for key info, adds them to a CRM, and schedules a welcome call using Google Calendar. So we have some tools like Zapier or Make that it's saying, or self-hosted with N8N. And then, given my tech stack of Go High Level N8N, which is what I've used in the past for other kind of automation capabilities and AI agents, you can have the high-level flow here with the trigger, the parsing, and it kind of goes through that. So option A with Zapier or Make, doing kind of a no-code. So we have the different actions here, and option B with N8N is what it recommends here. I can actually ask it to create the JSON. So it looks like sample N8N snippets. And then, if I'm using Go High Level, talks about what I need to map there. Let's say give me the full JSON to make the N8N template. Alright, so it is writing now the N8N workflow for me in the JSON. Now what I can do is I can just copy and paste this JSON that it outputs and actually put it right into N8N for this automation. So pretty cool capabilities here. And this is much better than O3 and GPT-4o that I've been testing over the last 6 months or so. Alright, so let's do another one. How do I do this in GPT-5? Act as my executive assistant, summarize today's calendar, draft 3 follow-up emails for yesterday's meetings, schedule a new meeting for next week based on my availability. So and I've noticed here that I cannot connect my Google account here, and I cannot get in the app in ChatGPT on my desktop app. It's not showing GPT-5, so I cannot connect my Gmail application here, so it looks like that's not able to help me, unfortunately. Alright, so now let's check the do a test for checking the context length and kind of the multimodal interaction. So I'm going to add in here the Lord of the Rings, the full book, the Fellowship of the Ring, and I'm just going to test the context window actually here. and see, what it can do. So let's go down here to maybe page 138. So let's say, what is listed on page 138? So what is listed on page 138 of this book? So page 138 contains the beginning of fog on the Barrow Downs. Hobbits awaken from an unexpectedly long nap to find a mist covering the downs. As they travel, fog thickens, cutting them off from one another. They become disoriented. Frodo hears a distant, eerie cry, and the group becomes separated, each hobbit wandering alone in the midst until Frodo realizes he is lost and cannot hear the others' voices. Okay, so I'm not seeing that on this page 138, but let's see if it goes to page 138 here. Yep, it looks like it is not giving me the right answers. Interesting. So here is page 138. So I'm going to upload it a picture and tell it no, it's wrong. So I said, you are wrong. This is page 138. And now let's see what it comes back with. Alright, so it thought for 1 minute and 3 seconds. So Mary's Pledge, the start of the travel song, yep. So now it got it right when I shared in the exact image, but it wasn't able to find it in the PDF document that I shared. Alright, and there you have it. That was my pretty deep dive here on just my initial impressions with GPT-5. I think it definitely has a little bit of a way to go. It's not at the point where it's AGI yet. I also don't see like the tools added in with like connecting my Gmail, some of like Google Drive active. So getting into the AI agents, it doesn't seem to be working, quite as well yet. But I am noticing a good improvement here. They did announce also today that the voice mode got an update. Now it's not GPT-5, but it is more of an advanced voice mode. So they reduced some of the issues and errors that people were seeing on that. So I'm going to be doing another video, on that soon. If you have other things that you're testing out GPT-5 or you want me to test out, please go ahead and drop it in the comment section below. I lead a lot of AI projects globally as the Chief AI Architect for OnStack. So if you have any questions about AI in general, in your work or your business, please let me know. Would love to guide and point you in the right direction. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other upcoming videos that I'm going to be releasing. I'll also have some other interviews and topics coming soon, so you definitely don't want to miss those. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to keep moving forward, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.